All right, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dunk Talk, episode 21. Today we're here with Mr. Travis Dunks and obviously co-host Hunter. So, Hunter, introduce yourself. Don't get to Travis.
Hey guys, I'm Hunter Castona, 6'1" dunker from Wisconsin, and we have a special guest, Travis Dunks. So, Travis, you want to introduce yourself?
All right. Yeah, my name's Travis Reynolds. I'm a professional dunker from North Carolina. I'm 22 years old, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. So, yeah, today we're just gonna go over Travis's journey as a dunker and just all that stuff. So, starting off, Travis, did you play any sports as a kid? What was like your intro to dunking, all that?
Um, I mean, like I played a handful of sports for fun, but I was never like a star in any of them. Like I was always pretty much just like a little chubby overweight kid. Um, Played like a tiny bit of basketball, wasn't very good at it. Played a little bit of flag football, wasn't very good at it. So I was never like a superstar athlete or anything, but around like age 11 or 12, I started getting into like the love of jumping because I saw some kid in my class touch something that I couldn't. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then fast forward a little bit later, I start seeing these pro dunkers on Instagram, like Jay Clark, Isaiah, and guys like that. And I'm like, okay, this is really cool. And that kind of drawed me into dunking.
Yeah,
When,
for sure.
what year was that when you started seeing pros?
Um, 20, I think it was the summer of 2014.
Okay.
That was a good year for dunking.
That was a very good year for dunking.
Yeah. So just like right when you're like starting to see these pros, like what were like your first inspirations as pro dunkers?
Like the first guys to inspire me.
Yeah, sure.
Well, the very first pro dunker dunk I ever saw was Jay Clark doing a 360 elbow at some LA Fitness that Billy filmed. And like from that moment forward, my mind was blown because like that was my first time ever seeing an elbow dunk, let alone just like a professional dunker like in action, I guess. And at that time period, like I could barely grab the rim on 8 feet outside my house, and I was like already obsessed with jumping. So like seeing that, my mind was blown. I was like, I don't know how this is possible, but it is, and that's kind of what got me obsessed with it. And then after that, like I started following Isaiah in like the very early days, like right after he got his first dunk. So like just being able to see these guys like do their dunks and then progress, it was just super inspiring and made me kind of love dunking even more.
Yeah, for sure. So when you're starting off, I mean, obviously in your transformation videos, we've all seen the kind of pathetic videos of you on like eight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when did you like start low rimming and like did you really have any goals or were you really just out there just screwing around?
Literally just out there screwing around. Like obviously like when we look at you as a low rimmer, like you do every dunk in the book, you already have mastered like millions of dunks pretty much. Me, I was literally just out there trying to jump as high as possible and dunk. Like it was literally just me messing around pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. And did you have any idea that like that would lead to vertical gains or were you again just kind of screwing around?
No, I had no idea. It was just completely for fun. Like I never went out there with like the intention of like getting drastically better. It was just something that I like was extremely interested in just through the guys that I saw online. And it was just extremely fun just to go out there and do. Even if I went out there and missed and sucked and everything, I just thought it was a lot of fun just trying to, jump a million times, jump as high as I could. And then eventually that just kind of led to progress because, being at that age, jumping for like hours every single day, it's gonna start helping eventually. So yeah, I had no idea in the beginning though.
Yeah, for sure. So when did you like get your first dunk or just start seeing like drastic progress?
My first dunk was what was it? I think I was 15 years old. It was April 2018, around that time period, I think. And what was the second part of that question?
And just like when did you start seeing like a lot of progress? Because obviously some of the videos are like very different that we've seen.
Yeah, okay. When you mean progress, do you mean like whenever I start like unlocking a lot of dunks on like 10 feet or just like what
Just
do you
like
mean by
early
that?
stages. Yeah.
Early stage? Okay, so I mean, I got my first dunk at 15, like April 2018 again. And I was pretty much at a level of just doing one-handers all the way until kind of like the end of 2019. And that's when I got some knee pain. I joined THP and they kind of tailed me out of the knee pain and kind of got me on track to gaining more vertical. And that was kind of the time period when I eventually moved away from just doing like basic one and two handers and started doing more things like windmills, tomahawks, eventually behind the back and stuff like that. So like around late 2019, 2020 time period, that's when like the main amount of progress came in, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, when you joined THP, you were doing like a lot of lifting and stuff. Was that like your first time ever lifting, or did you have a little bit of experience before that?
Um it was my first time lifting consistently for a long period of time. Throughout high school, like I would very occasionally hit the weight room. I did some personal training with my cousin for a couple months at one point, but I was always like, but before THP, I was always more interested in jumping than lifting. It was a lot more fun to me, and I just honestly hated lifting. I
Yeah.
still don't really like lifting to this day, but I do it because I have to improve jumping. Like before I got on THP, I remember I had this one program completely for free and I did it for like a week and then I quit because I'm like, dude, I would rather just jump every day. It's way more fun. So yeah, THP forced me to be consistent for like the very first time ever, and that's kind of ultimately what got me to progress because I went from being some guy who was just weak with painful knees jumping every single day to like actually getting some strength under my belt and kind of going from there.
Yeah, for sure. You know what kind of knee pain you had like that first time?
The first time, Um, I'm pretty sure it was proximal patella tendinopathy. It was
Yeah,
like it's just pretty much your standard jumper's knee, nothing too fancy.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So like obviously when you started, you said, you're kind of unlocking like new dunks. What was like the first dunk that you hit that you were like, wow, like this could actually turn out to be something?
Definitely behind the back. Because I worked on that dunk all the way from January to October in 2020. I was trying it like a million times a session. I was low rimming it constantly, like pretty much every single day. And in my opinion, that was like the first dunk that like really separated me from just being some guy who can jump high and do like windmills and stuff to being like an actual like on the path to be like an actual dunker. Because behind the back, it's like a really technical dunk that a lot of guys are like uncoordinated with when they first try it. So whenever I hit that, I'm like, okay, that is that's like an actual dunker dunk. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah, you
some
don't
dunk
you
that like
don't
a lot
see
of
it. You don't see it very often. I
yeah
mean, it's not really that hard like once you get it down, but it's like super
yeah.
hard to learn.
Well, I
Hmm.
mean,
It's a weird.
just look at me. I still struggle with it. I've only hit
Yeah,
two.
no, but you don't got
Hmm.
it down yet, bro.
Yeah, no,
Travis
like
Travis got that on lock.
Dude, that's why I call him like half my comments are like Mr. Behind the Back Man
mhm. No,
and
I
stuff like
love that
that.
dunk, dude.
Yeah,
It's definitely really awkward in the beginning, but eventually it starts to feel a lot better. But yeah, I love that dunk. It's always
Yeah,
gonna be one of my favorites.
yeah. So I know I've seen videos of you like when you were really young, low rimming, just doing like basic dunks, and then I've seen kind of videos of you just again, like you said, doing like basic dunks on 10 feet. So did you ever have a period where you like kind of did, I guess, what I do, like once a week, just like really try to like rep like really crazy dunks out, or was it really just kind of
On the low
dunk as
rim,
high as you can? Yeah.
for me, it was always just dunk as high as you can. To this day, like I always regret not doing a little bit of low rimming like you did, because like obviously it is a lot of fun. But like I just never really knew to do that back in the day. Like I was pretty much just only jumping as high as I could, trying to dunk on 10 feet, because that was like all my goal really was back then. I guess in terms of low rimming though, I do a lot of the low rimming where you just stand there and you don't jump, just like on a height that you can
Yeah.
dunk without jumping. That's pretty much where I do most of my technique practice. But no, I've never really done anything like you have, to be honest.
Yeah. I think me and Hunter started doing that too, just standing low rim quite a bit
Mm.
after 2022 camp. I mean,
No,
I
yeah, I.
I did it before too, but I would
Hmm.
jump like a little bit. I didn't really like consider it. a real like practice thing, I would just kind of go out and screw around, and then I kind of started
Hmm.
structuring it more. But
Yeah. No, it was really important for me because I started doing it after I joined THP mainly. Like I did it a few times before joining, but like after I joined, obviously I had pretty bad knees and I couldn't just jump for a million hours a week or my knees would be in like a lot worse shape. So I
yeah,
had to find a way to get the reps in and to practice like pretty much whatever dunk I'm trying to learn without torturing my knees. So it's just, get on the low rim, try to replicate it as close as you can to the real thing. And yeah, and then that works for practice. So I did a lot of that and to this day I still do it quite a bit.
yeah, for sure. So when you started getting knee pain, was it literally just from jumping too much, or did you like hit like, or I guess my real question is like, what vertical did you have like when you like first started to get serious knee pain?
Um, it was definitely from over jumping and not warming up. Like whenever I first started getting the knee pain, it was during the time period where I would jump every single day, maybe even twice a day. I wouldn't warm up really at all. I would just show up to the YMCA and start max jumping. So it definitely started from overload, but I was able to get away with that for a long time until my vertical started to get to around 35 around 35 with no training. I just jumped and jumped and jumped and jumped, and eventually it got to that point. Now, maybe I could have gotten it a little higher without knee pain, but that was also during the time period where I was overweight. So I was like 210 pounds jumping on my knee every single day, and that's definitely not the most healthy for it. So eventually my knee just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. So while you're like 210 or whatever, was it really ever a goal to lose weight, or did it just kind of like come with training?
Um, Yeah, once I like officially determined that I wanted to be a dunker, then it became a goal. Like I never really wanted to get to that weight in the first place, so I was always wanting to get it off, but once I decided that I wanted to be a dunker, it was like imperative that I get it off. I'm like, okay, this needs to happen. So I just kind of cleaned up my diet and then like as a product of jumping a ton, cleaning up my diet and just consistently training, I was able to get pretty much all of it off within like I went from 210 in like the end of 2019 to like 170 by like June 2020 or something like that. So I was
It's
able to get it
crazy.
up decently fast, just kind of locking in and being consistent.
Yeah. Before before Wisconsin dunk camp, or no, before Utah dunk camp this year, I literally just cut out like one meal of that was literally just like crap per day. And
Hmm.
then I literally gained, I mean, lost like 8 pounds in like 3 weeks.
Nice.
It's really not that hard when you just like cut out the dumb stuff, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's crazy.
That's a lot
Yeah,
of it is.
Travis, kind of going back with when you started training, did you ever do like high school training with like either a class or with like high school sports or anything like that, or was it just solely THPs when you kind of started like really getting into the training part?
Solely THP.
Okay.
Like again, I would very like randomly hit the weight room, but it was super inconsistent and definitely not consistent enough to make any kind of progress from it.
And then I know there was a time period where you were actually with THP, like you traveled to Florida and you were actually training with them. How long was that period? And is that where you learned a lot of your like lifting technique and how to actually like gain a lot of out of lifting?
Yeah, that was March 2021 and I was there for 2 weeks. We didn't learn like a ton of things down there. I was definitely able to get some insight into my training and like fix a couple of things, but it was mainly just a fun dunk trip. We just focused on like practicing dunks, having sessions. It was a lot of fun. That was kind of like the main purpose of it. It wasn't really like a big classroom session or anything though.
Yeah, sure. So I know that now you guys have kind of like the North Carolina dunk squad and whatever. You guys quite got quite a good lineup. So when did you like meet all those people, and when did that kind of become a thing?
All right. So I'm just gonna start with Ben because I've literally known Ben since I was 3 years old. Like we, I'm not even joking. We've just always known each other. And when I first started getting into dunking around 2014 or whatever, like he was also getting into it with me. He just didn't completely stick to it the entire time like I did. He stuck to it up until like 2020, and then he like got into college and kind of went off for school, and he couldn't focus on it as much. But now clearly he's focusing on it a lot more now that he's done. So he's always been around. If you look at like a bunch of my old videos, you can actually see him in there. Now as far as the rest of the guys, like Obi, I met him on Instagram in 2019, 2020 or something like that. And he only lived at like one state away at the time. So eventually we just kind of met up and started having dunk sessions. Dan was kind of the same way. Dan literally has always lived like an hour and a half from me. So we met for the first time whenever John and Isaiah came to North Carolina. It was during quarantine, so Isaiah like didn't have a place to train, so he came and trained with John. And I don't remember if me and Dan followed each other before this. I think for I think I at least followed him, but we definitely kind of mutually met through those guys. And then like after those sessions in 2020, we've just kind of been dunking together pretty much every single session since then. Um, Trying to think. Oh, and then Sam. I've known Sam on Instagram for years now, and we just kind of decided to meet up after we realized that we lived close together. So yeah, that's kind of the lore behind the NC guys.
Yeah. Is Sam still close to y'all or not really? Because I don't see him too often.
It's hard to get sessions with Sam because he's not as close as like everybody else is. Like Obi, Dan, they're like an hour away, hour and a half. Ben's like 20 minutes away. And then Sam is 3 hours away nearly. He's over in Raleigh almost.
Hmm.
So the only time I really get to see Sam is whenever we're able to plan a group session in advance, kind of like in the halfway point, and he's like off work and stuff. I wish we could get him to more sessions, dude. Sam, he always brings like some elite energy to the sessions. So yeah, it's just
For sure.
random.
Yeah, with I forgot, I don't know what gym it's called, but it's that blue gym, like the high school gym. Was that your high school that you went to, or how'd you get into that
Um,
gym?
yeah, that's where Dan went to high school. He knows the coach really well there, and we're just able to use the gym from time to time there whenever they allow us to.
It's dope
Yeah, it's an awesome
Nice,
gym.
nice.
The lighting is perfect. The floors are amazing. It's definitely one of my favorite gyms ever to dunk in.
for sure. I see
Yeah,
you
for sure.
dunking Carolina. Don't you dunk at that YMCA too? Like, are those the two main spots that you dunk at? Is the YMCA and then there?
Yeah, yeah. The YMCA is only like 10 minutes from my house. It's definitely not the best gym of all time. The floors you can pretty much go ice skating on if your shoes if you don't like them. Not the best, but it's like the only gym around here. So whenever I'm not traveling to dunk with like the rest of the NC guys, that's unfortunately where I have to dunk. But it gets the job done, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. What about that gym that you just hit East Bay elbow at? That gym looks crazy. At least the
That's high.
rims.
Yeah, that's a really nice gym. It's a High Point University. The
That's what I
only
thought.
issue
Yeah,
of that is in the summertime, which is when we went last, there's like no one in there. But the second school gets back, it's like impossible to get in there because when we went, we were literally the only people in the entire gym, minus like three people in the weight room on the other side. But if we went there during like the school year, it's completely full. There's no way we're gonna really dunk without a million people being on the court. So it's a really nice gym. Just unfortunately we can't use it as much.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those rims look super fun.
Dude,
dude, that
Just
one flimsy rim on the main court is crazy.
no, I can't get over that. Oh wait, you're talking about the one where Dan hit 360 scoop elbow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, that
they
rim was
dude.
destroyed.
Yeah, they finally replaced that rim. It was on life
Okay,
support, dude.
dude, that thing
Like
would like go
you
from here to up here.
no, yeah, like it was so loose. It doesn't matter how weak the dunk was. It would shake like crazy. Like I could do a rim grazer and that thing's just flopping up and down. Like it was literally barely hanging on there. And we actually almost got kicked out of the gym one time because we were just absolutely destroying that rim and the worker was not having it. But they finally got rid of it. They actually replaced all the rims in that gym with like the same exact rim that I hit the East Bay elbow on. Or I didn't hang because I'm lame. But no, that the rims are amazing in there because like they're super flimsy for elbow dunks, but they still sound extremely powerful when you do a power dunk. And that's like it's really rare to find a gym or a rim, I mean, that's like flimsy and powerful. So I really
Yeah,
Yeah,
wish we could get
when
into
you
there
hit
more.
that windmill,
that's what I
I
was
think it
gonna
was like a
say.
couple weeks ago. Oh my gosh, that was disgusting.
Dude,
Yeah, when I
I
was when I was watching that, I was like, how is it possible that he was like able to like squeak elbows in like that and punch a windmill like on the same rim? That just doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah, my only regret from that day is I was wearing earbuds. I had no clue the windmill was any good at all because I couldn't hear it. Like I
Oh
landed and
yeah.
like in the video I'm kind of like looking around because I'm like, oh, that was pretty decent, but I didn't know it was like actually insane. And then like later I watched the footage back with the audio and I was like, oh,
Well,
that's a good
and it
windmill.
and it went straight down too. So obviously that's always a plus.
No, yeah, that was probably my best windmill to date. There's a
It's
couple close ones, but I think that one just takes the cake.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of want to go into something else with shoes. So I know
Ooh.
that you are a big Jordan guy, and you've been wearing. I don't even know what Jordans are those that you usually wear.
They're
Westbrook's.
yeah, they are. I don't know like anything about shoes really. I'm pretty sure they're Jordan, why not 3.0s or something.
Okay,
I know absolutely nothing about them. I don't even think they're the best shoe out there by any means, but I have like a really wide, weird shaped foot, and a lot of shoes just don't work for me. And in 2020, I saw Isaiah wear them when he was in North Carolina, and that was like whenever I was first getting back into dunking. So I'm like, sure, I'll try them. And I've literally been wearing them ever since. I'm my third pair.
have you had any other pairs of shoes before that, or like during that,
Um,
or has it just only
I saw
been
you with the
those?
he had the shoes you had, Hunter, the All City 11 V2s, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah, the sky ones. I remember those.
hmm
Yeah, you wore
Yeah,
those
I
like once or
those are
twice,
really
I think. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I like whenever I do switch shoes, I do really like those. The only issue with those for me is like I feel like a lot of the times they are too grippy. Like my YMCA, they are really nice because that floor is absolutely trash. So the floor or the shoes actually make that floor really nice because they're super grippy. But I've tried those shoes in a gym where the floor was already really good, and I felt myself stopping way harder than I usually do, and like it was throwing off my rhythm and like my plant and jump, and it just felt super weird. And then sometimes like when I try to do 360s in them, it just doesn't work because like I just plant really hard and then I kind of like lose my balance and control. I don't know how it works, but yeah,
Interesting.
I do like those shoes when the court conditions are okay, I guess. And then like way back in the day, I used to always dunk in LeBrons, the massive
The
sandbags
heavy
in your
ones,
feet that
yeah.
weigh like a million pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
But to go with those like what why nots, like what like obviously you're on your third pair now, so obviously there's something like good about them. So like what do you feel that's like that you just love about them that you just keep buying pairs?
that's the thing. There's not really anything. Like truth be told, some sessions I put them on, my feet hurt. Like dude, like it's one of the it's this is like the ultimate example of if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like most of the time they do feel really good, but like
Yeah.
I just like them. Like again, I have a really weird shaped foot, and a lot of the shoes that I've tried on over the years, like I'll go to a store, I'll like try on a shoe. Most shoes just feel terrible on my feet. I don't know what it is, and these shoes are the ones that really just don't feel that bad, and they've always worked for me. They've never like slipped on me when I'm dunking. They've never like actually messed me up while dunking. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, it's not broken. I'm just gonna keep rocking with it. I don't think
Yeah.
I'll use them forever. I think eventually I'll find a new one, but yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. And I also really like how they look. They're just super colorful.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Yeah, I
pretty
think
much it. Nothing special.
there's basically two types of people. The people that are just like, these shoes are fine. I'll just keep wearing them. Because if I mean, like you said, like if shoes are like feeling good, you really don't need to change anything about them. I got like super fixated on shoes for a while, and I was just like trying to
hmm
find like the best thing, whatever. And I got really deep into like the tech and shoes and stuff. But like at the end of the day, like the shoes that I have that have like the best technology probably are the Way 10s, but I don't even like wear them every session. I wear like a budget model of Wades just because they
hmm
just feel better and I feel like I jump better in them. So I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely some things like I'm not gonna lie to you. Those shoes that you have are not the best, even close to the best
Oh
at all.
no,
But like,
absolutely not,
yeah,
dude.
they're like nothing compared. There's like I could probably name 50 shoes better than those, but I mean, if
Probably.
they fit your foot fine, like it really doesn't matter because I mean, you're still jumping insanely high in them, and again, you're not gonna jump 4 inches higher on average wearing special insoles or shoes. So
No, 100%. It's just all about what feels the best for you, really. Like again, I probably will use some different shoes at some point when I eventually find some, but I just haven't found any yet. I don't know.
yeah, bro, just talk to the weight reps though. Just keep sending them to you, review them, and
Yeah.
see which ones. But
That's true. I might head them back up because
you should talk to 361 actually, because they make some shoes that are actually kind of similar to those Westbrooks. But
who
yeah,
is it?
361 degrees. They have like Aaron
Uh,
Gordon, Nikola Jokic, like
I
a
might
few
have
of those.
to have you like text me that after this.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
It's a funny name. It's literally just 361 degrees. I don't know how they came up with that, but yeah,
Yeah.
they send me quite a bit of shoes and pretty nice. So
Hmm. No, I'd definitely love to review some because one day I'll find a shoe that's better than my current ones. Because every time I have to get a new pair, it's like another. Well, it's whatever StockX is charging for them. So it's like I think the last ones were like it was like $300 for them, and like, it was like two
bro,
to
you
three hundred
paid
dollars.
300 for Westbrooks, bro.
Dude, look, I love these shoes. All right, and
That's actually
like
crazy.
the ones before that they like ripped at the bottom. I'm like dang dude, I'm gonna need my shoes or I'm gonna start dunking like trash.
How many of these are you going through a year?
Okay, so here's the thing. Back when I used to dunk outdoors all the time, I was running through those things. They would get absolutely destroyed. Like the ones I have now, I got them in the beginning of 2023, and they're to this day are still in like pretty much perfect condition because I've had a rule with them only dunk indoors, and they are in absolutely perfect condition. However, the old ones, whenever I used to dunk outdoors all the time, if you look at the bottom of them, it's like almost completely smooth
Oh
from the
yeah,
concrete.
I got shoes
Like,
like that too, bro.
yeah. But yeah, I actually don't know if it was $300, but I remember it was pretty expensive for the last pair.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
crazy.
hoping I don't have to buy another pair anytime soon. Hopefully I find the new
Yeah,
shoe before then.
I was about to say we gotta find you a different shoe if you're paying 300 for those.
Yeah, I need after this I'm gonna go look what they sell for nowadays. Because
yeah.
I mean $300 that's like a new pair of like Wow tens or whatever from Way of Wade.
Yeah.
It's
Or you
more
can
than
get the
that.
gammas, dude. You can get the gammas too.
Yeah, for sure.
Th-
So I kind of want to
Maybe
switch
I'm
gears.
inspired.
Yeah,
All right.
I want to switch gears. What was like your first? Y'all are both frozen for me. Hold up. So what was your like first experience or like first time hearing about dunk camp, and then like when did you go for the first time?
First time hearing about dunk camp. I mean, I've heard about dunk camp ever since the very beginning because like I've been a part of the community ever since 2014. I've closely followed everybody. So when everyone went to that first dunk camp, I was seeing everybody's posts, everyone's stories about it. It looked like a lot of fun, so I knew I always wanted to go to it. Unfortunately, I never got to go to it until 2021, which it was a really fun camp. But I signed up for the 2021, but the quarantine thing kind of ruined that, and we had to do it virtual. But yeah, 2021 is my favorite one. And what was there a second part to that question, or was it just like
No, just
kind of what I
that. Yeah,
said? All right, fair enough.
yeah, for sure. So have you gone like every camp since then?
Have I? Let's see. I went to 2021, 22, 23. I went to 2 and 23. Yeah, I think I have. I think the only thing I missed was there was like a dunk camp all-star weekend thing in like February
Oh yeah,
2023. I
that'd be
didn't go
cool.
to
Yeah, I
that.
remember that. Was that
I,
in Atlanta or something?
I think it was in Utah because I went to the one in
Was?
Atlanta in December. Yeah,
That's the one I'm thinking of, yeah.
I just missed the Utah one, which sucks. It looks like it was great. That little dunk show was awesome.
Yeah,
Definitely,
it was
definitely should have
crazy.
went.
I'm trying to find your shoes on Goat right now.
Yo, I'm gonna pull
I
up
don't.
StockX on my other screen real
I
quick.
looked up the name, bro, and I cannot. I don't think you got the name right, but you might.
I
I
got
just looked
I
it up
got this,
wrong.
dude. Hold up.
Hey, he's got to go back to his archives, his order history.
Can't remember, bro.
Yeah, Jordan, why not
Oh, I
three?
found him. I
I'm
found him. I
looking
found
online.
him.
$238 right now.
Is it this
Let me
color?
select my
Hold on. Let me
price.
show you something, Travis. I might have just found him for way cheaper. Oh my gosh, did it again. Travis, is this them?
Yeah, that looks like them. That's them.
What size are you?
I'm size 12.
They're 150 on GOAT right now
Dang, they've came down. Yeah,
for a
last sale
reason.
140 because the last yeah, the
For a
last ones
reason.
the last time I bought these, it was way back in the day.
Yeah,
I've been taking good care of them ever since ever since I tore up a ton of them outside.
sure.
Jeez. Yeah, last sale 140, dude. I might have to cop my fourth pair soon. Catch
All
catch
right.
them catch them while they're cheap.
Yeah, yeah, for
But going
sure.
along with the dunk camp stuff, so for your first one, did you have any goals like going into camp, or are you just going just to experience like the whole thing?
Um, Kind of both. I definitely just wanted to experience it and meet like everybody in the community. Because up until that point, I hadn't met everybody. Like that was my first time meeting Jordan Kilgannon and then a couple of other guys. So that was pretty surreal. That was my first time meeting Jay Clark too, which was awesome. Because like I said, Jay Clark was like the first ever pro that I ever saw. So that was really cool. But my only goals for that camp was just to go there and kind of hit my dunks. Like leading up to the camp, instead of like going for new dunks, I just kind of repped out like the same dunks over and over again to make sure that I could kind of just do my thing out there. And I
Yeah.
ended up doing it. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to go out there and dunk and have a good time and meet everybody.
What dunks
Yeah,
were you
I mean,
doing at that
oh.
Uh,
time?
uh, I did a I did a self bounce east bay. I did some off the dribble behind the backs,
Hmm.
windmills. I did a self bounce elbow. 360 pump, just stuff like that. I don't, I can't really think of anything else because that was a couple months before I started doing the hide and seek and stuff like that. So just that kind of stuff, I guess.
So for your first camp, did you go crazy with jump days, or did you like kind of limit yourself, or like how would that go for the first like couple camps?
Um, so the first dunk camp I jumped on Monday and Thursday, and then like those 2 days in between, I just completely chilled to ensure that I could have a decent session on Thursday. Cause like, look, I'm not like this Dylan Haugen guy in here. Like this man jumps for like 8 hours a day every single dunk camp. Doesn't jump low from it either. He could have a dunk session in the morning and in the evening. I mean, heck, he won the 9 foot contest on Thursday and hit a hide and seek a couple hours later. So unfortunately,
Good
I'm not
point.
like him.
Yeah,
But
we're not
I think
16 anymore.
I think
yeah,
I need to clear my name, bro. People are still gonna start thinking I'm like a genetic freak or something. I need to actually talk about this. Monday, bro. Actually, every single day besides Monday and Thursday, I was probably jumping at like 40%. So that's the only reason I'm able to jump like every
you're
day.
just
Like
invincible, dude.
even the day
I
before
remember.
That's
camp,
all it is.
even the day before camp, we were like messing around that 99.7 rim or whatever. Like that under bolt I did was probably like 70% effort. I didn't make it, but it's like my hands are just good enough that I can just screw around on low rims, jumping like
And
20 inches.
your knees are invincible, dude.
Yeah,
I
that's funny.
remember those
Actually,
days.
no, my
I could
knees are
jump
not
all
invincible,
day.
bro. At the end of camp,
Actually?
I probably had an 8. Yeah, I
Really?
just I just
Okay.
generally manage it well, just not
And
at
then does
camp.
a show the next day after he has
Oh
like
yeah,
an
I did
eight.
a show the day after I got home.
Look,
Forgot
you
about
might
that.
have something going on with your knees, but it ain't what's going on in my knees, dude. If I jumped
It's
as much as
mostly
you did, I would be leaving dunk camp in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's mostly quad
Yeah.
tend not to be in my left knee. But yeah,
Yeah.
bro, actually I did the pre-show in Utah and that like I like couldn't even walk after that, bro. 'Cause that was like the last straw for me. Like I could not.
Well, like with knee pain, you
Yes,
couldn't
bro. I
walk.
had like a
And then he also had a contest after that as well.
Yeah, so that was Thursday. I did a contest on Saturday, but that's irrelevant, bro. I didn't feel good during that contest.
Okay, and you still hit arguably some of your best dunks. Like
I elbowed that contest.
exactly. Like what?
For the record, bro, we didn't measure that rim. That rim was probably like 9.8, 9.9,
Doesn't
9.9
matter. You're
max.
still
It
you're
was so
still
low.
after a dunk camp where you're feeling that bad, you're still doing that stuff on a 9.8 rim. That's still if I did that,
Speak,
I'd be barely windmilling or something.
Speaking of, we gotta get into rim heights, but speaking of rim heights,
Oh
Hunter,
snap!
I lost my tape measure in Wisconsin. We measured we measured the show rim with it, and then I just left it there.
Was it a dunk camp tape measure?
Yeah,
I think I saw that one. I'm not even
yeah,
joking
bro.
because
You
like at
you
the
definitely did because I just left it
I
sitting
can
around
see if it's
somewhere.
at the
I
if it's at the gym. If not, I mean,
I highly
probably
doubt
somebody
it
took it.
is.
I was about to say somebody probably took it, or Andy did something.
Andy
I don't
just
I
know.
think
probably thought it was his
Andy
or
might
something.
have it because I remember like whenever we were packing up and they were turning the lights out on us, like I had my flashlight on in the dark and I saw a tape measure and I just assumed like Andy left it and that was the last time we would be in there, so I grabbed it and I just gave it to him. So that might be yours,
Right
dude.
on.
Your tape measure might be in Utah.
The funniest thing is, or that would be Wisconsin, buddy. But
Nah, he took it back to Utah, buddy. He's not living
oh yeah,
there.
good point. The funniest thing is in Utah when I won like that lob throwing competition or whatever, Andy gave me a tape measure and I immediately just gave it to Nate because I was like, whatever, I already have one. So now I'm down two
Out
tape
of luck.
measures in 2 months.
Out of luck, buddy.
So stupid. But all right, we're gonna pause this recording and come back talk about roommates. All right, we're back. So rim heights has become discussed a lot on this podcast, actually. But
Oh,
today we're
really?
not gonna, yeah, actually, like every episode we've we've talked about it a little bit,
All right.
but we're not gonna go crazy on it today. Just kind of want to hear your thoughts about, you know, what counts, what doesn't count, and then what you personally kind of take into account to help yourself just like improve with lower rim and higher
Mm-hmm.
rim.
Gotcha. Oh, so you go just like what heights I count and don't count, stuff like that.
Go
I
for
thought
it.
I
Yeah,
thought you're just covering the general ground rules.
nah, go for it. No, we're recording, bro.
All right. So I mean, um, I'm just gonna go for like me personally. Like
Yeah,
I I want to hit a dunk on as close to 10 feet as possible. All right. So that's kind of how I've always seen it. Whenever I was like, but before I could even dunk, the goal was always to dunk on 10 feet. So that was kind of what I always wanted to stay consistent with. So I wanted to get my first windmill on 10 feet behind the back, all that good stuff. I've definitely done some dunks on lower rims, like I've double elbowed 9, 10, and 7/8, or 9, 10, 7/8, something like that. So just like a hair under 9/11, stuff like that. So like I've done dunks like under what I would consider to be super legit. But nowadays, I just try to be like I'm happy of 9/11.5 and up nowadays because I get like not every gym is gonna be 10 feet. So as long as I just kind of keep it as close to 10 feet as possible, I'm okay with that. Like again, not always you're not always gonna get access to a rim that's like that high. Like I hit a two-hand East Bay at dunk camp that was 9/11 and a quarter at the time. So like not 9/11 and a half, but I had room, so it's like whatever. Um, I don't know. It's like it's really hard to kind of articulate and talk about because like there's such like a wide spectrum of like I don't know, like it's a hard thing to
yeah,
talk about because it really is
yeah,
just like personal preference. Like I would just like it to be a fair bit over 9/11 at the end of the day. I think
yeah,
I think ultimately I am happy with it if it's a fair bit over 9/11.
yeah.
Like
Because I was gonna
like
say like two-hand East Bay for you is gonna be pretty replicable, but like your hide and seek two-hander, like is that really even worth going for? Like on exactly 10 feet, when you've already kind of hit it at decent rim height. So really hard to,
I think it is for that dunk because I figured that dunk out that day, and the only reason it was done on 9/11.1 opposed to 10 feet is because that was my first time at that gym, and
exactly. Yeah.
I didn't know they adjusted the rims back then at that gym, so I just measured it and I just assumed that was what height the rim always stayed at, so I hit it on that, and I was happy with it. Went back next week, measured it again, it was higher. I'm like, dang it, I could have got them to raise it for me, but yeah.
So do you try to find like different gyms and to try to get them as high as possible? Like, do you have a hard time like finding rims for like for you personally, like over 9/11, or Is it like
Um,
every gym's usually that height or
I'll
like
be
around
honest.
you?
I'm actually pretty lucky in North Carolina. There's not many low rims here. My YMCA, both rims are pretty close to 10 feet. That blue gym we go to, that's one of the lower rims in North Carolina. One of them is, I think it's 9, 10 and 3/4 now. Last time we was there, but they do occasionally tighten that rim and fix it because like it does just get bent down. And then the other side's 9, 11.5 roughly. Most gyms in North Carolina are definitely like up to up to like where I would want to dunk at. So I'm pretty fortunate for that.
Yeah, for sure. When's the last time you purposely had a session under 911?
Um, that's a good question.
Always wondered this.
I'm trying to think. I really don't remember. I did a dunk show at this one school. It was 9, 10 and 1/4 late last year. But like a session, dude, like I honestly don't
I
remember.
mean,
I'm assuming it was at Calvary.
technically, technically the pre-show or your pre-show rim at Wisconsin was like what 9.9 and then like a quarter or
I
three
think it
quarters or
was I
something
think
like
it was
that.
9, 9.9 according to Jordan. I just did baby jumps on. I did a behind the
Yeah,
back just walking.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You gotta do it. You gotta do a full session on 9-9 soon, just to
dude,
abuse
that
it,
I
just see
actually
what it
wanted to
looks
just
like.
see what happens. Yes.
I'm so curious just to see like what you would do on there.
I wouldn't mind having a low rim session soon. I just I need to do a couple other things first. I'm trying like my main goal right now is black band. I really want a black band. I think I can do it before the end of the year. So
Yeah,
once I'm done doing my like main quests, I'll do some side quests. I'll have a
yeah,
low rim session. I don't think it'll be 9, 9. I think the lowest I'd be willing to go is the low side of Calvary, and that's 9, 10 and 3/4. Because like I just don't really want to dunk any lower than that. Because
yeah,
like even like it just doesn't seem worth it to me. Because like I do like all this training and I try to eat right and stuff to kind of prime my body to be able to like do all this stuff on like pretty much as close to 10 feet as I can get usually. So I want to kind of keep it more close to that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want
Yeah.
to I don't want to go too low. It just
yeah,
doesn't feel worth it to me.
yeah. I remember me and you talked a bit earlier this year. I think it was about like 9, 10 and a half versus 9, 11 plus. Because at the time I was dunking on like only 9, 10 and a half, and I'd had no intentions of changing that just because I was doing good, and I think the reasoning that I told you was I'm young, so in a year it won't matter. Like nine
Yeah.
ten and a half in a year will be 9, 11 and a half, so it won't really matter that much. But then I spent a month on 9, 11 and a half because the gym that I was going to or whatever, the court just got like horrible because of the humidity here. So I
Hmm.
spent a month on 9, 11 and a half, and the next time I dunked on like 9, 10 and a half, it just felt like tiny. And it wasn't even like a good jumping day either. So
Hmm.
I do think that it is good to like just go up, and then like if you have to go down, it's like crazy different because
Yeah. Like it's just much better to practice on a super legit rim, and then whenever you have to dunk on a low rim, you're just that much more prepared for it.
yeah,
Because for a while, like for most of 2023, I was on rims that were like around 911 ish. Like I'd have some sessions at my YMCA and whatnot, but I was dunking in a lot of gyms that were like around 911. And like I was like honest with myself. I'm like, yeah, I would like to dunk on rims that are a little bit higher. So like for most of this year, I've just been like on close to 10. And I'll admit, like when I first started like holding myself to that standard, it was definitely like it took a little bit of getting used to it because I'm like, okay, this is definitely different than Calvary. I was kind of like I literally went into it scared. I'm like, what if I'm not as good as I am on like 911 or whatever? And turns out like it was just like all a mental thing. I'm doing just fine on it. And then every now and then when I get a rim that's lower, like you said, I just feel like that much more prepared to dunk on it because I'm
yeah,
just
for
used to
sure.
like the hardest conditions possible, basically.
Yeah, I
Like if
love
you're
that,
always
especially.
practicing on 10 and like even if you have like a if you're always practicing on 10 and even on your like bad days you can like go off on it pretty much, like you're prepared for like any situation that kind of comes to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I was just gonna say that, like, especially for shows and stuff, like when I had that dunk contest or whatever, I'm like 9.8, 9.9. It was like I don't even think, yeah, that was after I did that, but it's like when you get those like contests and shows and events or whatever, and they're on
Hmm.
lower rims, like it's just gonna feel tiny. You're just gonna look way better. So
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, if you're prepared for 10 feet on under any conditions, then like you're ready for anything pretty much. And it's also nice because like I would rather practice on like the hardest conditions possible, like just getting reps in. Because like what if I only practiced on like 9, 10, and like I was like decently consistent with my dunks on that, but like not super, and then all of a sudden I get to an event and it's like terrible, terrible floors, 10 feet, 10 feet, half an inch. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
this is terrifying. So like I just want to make sure that I'm ready for like whatever scenario pretty much.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I kind of get
so,
your point with that. So obviously, like me and Dylan, like we've both dunked on 9, 10 and a half plenty of
Hmm.
times, and um, like obviously with my gym, it's a little different because like the rim heights do change like literally every single, not maybe not every single day,
Hmm.
but like every single week there are different rim heights. So it's like at first I didn't have access to a ratchet, so like I couldn't just crank the hoop up to the highest point if I wanted to. Like whatever
Yeah.
it was at. But there was one time it was at like 9 a.m. I'm like, I can't dunk on this. Like I need to put it at least 9, 10 and a half. Because
Hmm.
there are some hoops that like are really, really hard to ratchet. Like once they get to like a higher point, it's just like it's not worth beating myself up like for 10 minutes just trying to get it to the highest point when I can just dunk on at least 9, 10 and a half or whatever it is. So
Yeah, at that point, you're just messing
um,
up your arms.
exactly. I'm already
Yeah.
tired by the time I'm about to warm up. It's just like, yeah,
No,
this
yeah.
doesn't feel right. But yeah, I totally get like where you're coming from about like just being prepared, especially for you doing a bunch of these shows and um contests and everything like that. It's just like you never know what the rim's gonna be at. While if you're at home, you kind of know what everything is. So, but
Hmm.
but yeah, kind of going back to
yeah.
the black band. Like, what do you feel like is the hardest for you to complete? Because I know you've hit. Have you hit all of them
He's hit all of them. Yeah,
before already? Yeah.
I
So
need to
like,
redo
what do
one.
you?
I need to redo
Okay.
360 East Bay. It was too low.
Okay. Yeah. So like, if you say that you're gonna like complete it, like, are you trying it every single session as well? Or are you just gonna like actually prepare
No,
for it?
it's gonna be random whenever I do it. Like like last session, I was jumping decent, and like I knew I was jumping pretty decent. So I literally told Ben, I'm like, "Yo, if this under both goes in, like first or second try, I'm going for black band." I ended up not making the under both, so it didn't happen. So
Yeah.
it's just gonna be random. It's gonna be on some day that I'm feeling good. A dunk's just gonna go in like first try or something, and I'm gonna be like, okay, today's the day, I guess. But as far as like the hardest dunk in that category for me, it's definitely gonna be backboard East Bay. I literally made backboard East Bay already, and it only took me like one session. But I am so bad at throwing backboard passes. It's not even funny. So like
Is it
it's
like
just
your
so hard
timing
left, right?
or what is
I
it? Like, what do you have a problem with backboard passes or lobs or however you want to
That's the thing.
call it?
I don't
Like,
I don't know. I think just all around it's just generally really bad because like I just never do backboard things. So like once I was able to catch the East Bay off the backboard, I made it. But the amount of attempts that I don't even get to try on, like there will be like there could be like 3 minutes of me just like throwing the ball at the backboard and messing it up. Like it is just
yeah.
nonstop. Like I've just never really practiced backboard dunks, and it really shows whenever I'm trying that. So
Yeah,
that's
like
definitely gonna be the hardest one for me.
when you throw it, do you like do it like Isaiah where you're like behind the 3 point line and you like chuck it, or you kind of like what I do and I basically I'm at the free throw line when I'm throwing it and I kind of like take 2 to 3 steps and then I'm already there. Like how do you throw your
Uh,
lobs?
I'll
If
be
you
honest,
can
off the
like
top
think
of my
about
head,
it.
I'm not even really sure. I
Yeah.
think I think I'm definitely closer to you than Isaiah though, because I know he does chuck that thing.
Yeah,
And
he's like from the 3 point behind the 3 point line, he just chucks it as hard as he can
yeah,
and
no,
then
he
just
he
runs at it.
yeah, he chucks that thing. And I have like a slower approach of a short penultimate step, so I'm not covering that much distance very fast. So I do have to throw it a lot closer to the hoop. And I think the hardest part for me is just throwing it light enough where it doesn't go flying off the backboard and I have to catch it like way back here because it's gonna be hard to catch
Yeah.
an East Bay back there and then go under opposed to just catching it like in the perfect
When'd
Have
you,
you
spot.
tried
Travis,
hurrying?
Travis, when'd you hit that real quick?
February 2024,
All right.
March. It was early this year.
All right, cool. Go
Okay.
ahead, Aaron.
Have you ever tried throwing it like higher so it comes down off the backboard instead of like almost coming, I guess, up, if you will, if I'm explaining that like well enough?
Um, I'll have to try that. Like, I think most of the time I just kind of throw it. I don't know. Like, dude, I'm so bad at backboard. Like, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely try that.
Because
I
that's
really
because
The
don't
that's how I
know.
one,
do my off the backboard one hand windmill. That's how I get to do that because
Hmm.
it just comes and sits down like where I need it to be instead of trying to go get it with like when I try like off the backboard East Bear windmill, I try to catch it a little bit higher just because you need that arm
Hmm.
swing. But with that dunk especially, that's kind of where I learned how to throw backboard lob just because I learned how to throw it catch or like throw it higher for like now like one of my favorite dunks to do is a slingshot off the backboard. So like now I'm throwing that like I'm catching it up here and then bringing it down. So like I have a bunch of different variations that just kind of help me, I guess, all
Hmm.
around just trying those dunks. But
Gotcha.
yeah, what I think a lot of people like throw it too hard, like how you're saying. Like
Hmm.
that's their problem. They just don't know how to throw it lighter, which I just say
yeah,
just try to throw it up more, let it come down to you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I'm watching the
literally,
one you made. It looks good, Travis. You just kind of gotta work on it.
yeah, like if I could replicate that pass every time, I would love to do that dunk more. But like I'm telling you, like I remember one of the sessions that I was recording leading up to me making that. There was like a 10-minute clip of me just missing the pass so much. And I'm like, why? Like I didn't know it was possible to be that bad at backboard passes. Like literally the last upper body day I had, I did it on like the low rim hoop that I have at my other house. And like I literally cranked it up to 10, like as I was ending the session. And for the last like 15 minutes of my upper body workout, I was just like trying to pass it off the backboard. And just every one of them was like half of them I just threw and missed the backboard and it would just go out into the yard. And then half of them would just go off too hard. Like it's bad. I was even trying the one where you like bounce it off the floor, and then the backboard is just I'm trash. Like I can't do it. It's gonna take a lot of work.
Gotta
Yeah.
do like backboard windmill every session or something. Just make a dunk off the backboard.
Yeah, no, I literally like made a note of that on my whiteboard over here. I have a dunking whiteboard where I just kind of like try to keep my thoughts on there because it's much better than just keeping them in my head, I guess, because I'll end up forgetting them. And I literally did a reminder like, yo, practice off the backboard stuff at the end of your session, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Rest of the black band dunks. I know you hit all of them, obviously. So just kind of give us like quick backstory of the ones you've hit.
Uh, like when I hit them,
Yeah, sure.
or well, I'll just start with under both since I did that one recently. Um, I originally thought under both would be like the hardest one for me, but it turns out I was just doing the dunk completely wrong the entire time, and I literally spent like an hour straight missing it one session, and I'm like, dude, I definitely jump high enough for this. Why can't I do it? Turns out I was just doing it wrong. I
What
fixed the
were you doing
technique.
wrong?
It's hard to me. I'm looking for a basketball. Wait, there might be
Is
one
it
right
like
here.
transfer wise or like what do you mean
I have
you're
a
doing it
I have a
wrong?
deflated basketball. So, like, imagine I'm going. Okay, you guys are gonna see my PJs here. All
North
right,
Carolina.
so obviously I can't do an invert or I can't do an under both like this. So I'm gonna have to show you with an inverter. But basically, I was okay. Wait, what would be the best one? Okay, we're gonna do East Bay. Let me see if I can do this.
Yeah,
Okay,
that should be fine.
so what I was doing is I was going under both and I was catching extremely underneath the ball right here, right? And then I would just like launch the ball that way every single time. And I thought for that dunk, it was really important to get underneath the ball, but not like that. It's like literally the night before I made my first one, I was studying like everybody's under both. I looked at Donovan's, I looked at Isaiah's, Jordan's, like literally everyone's under both. And I noticed no one was doing this, what I was doing. They was catching it more like an East Bay, but under like this. So I literally texted Donovan. I'm like, bro, I figured it out. I'm gonna make it tomorrow, and I did.
I might have to look at mine because I might have that problem because a lot of the time I just get under the ball so much that I just throw it off the backboard. I just goes over the backboard even at that. And I think Dylan kind of has that too, where he just loses at the top. So I
Hmm.
think we might have to look at that, Dylan, to see what we do. Because like
Yeah.
obviously I've hit it twice now, but like I'm high enough to like not every session, but I'm high enough almost every session to be able to hit it, and then I get the ball over the rim. I can just never even back rim. It's usually backboard or goes over the backboard, whatever it is, and I've hit it twice now. So it's
Hmm.
like I
I
just never
come,
really thought about that, so I might have to look at that now.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I jump hilariously low to even be attempting under both, but a lot of mine, I do have mine on like the side of
you'll
the ball,
you'll
but
get there one day, buddy.
Yeah,
One day, buddy.
well, the funny thing is I'm
yeah.
like actually close sometimes, but I don't know. I
You were
need
close
to,
at the Winona
You
session.
have godly dunk technique.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Insane.
back rimmed it like 4 or 5 times on 9-10 though. So I mean, but I had like so much space, so I need to wrap it out more.
Yeah, you could definitely make it. Like going into it, I thought it would be the hardest black band dunk for me, and then I figured it out, and now it feels just like an East Bay for me, to be honest. Like it just feels like a delayed East Bay. It just takes a little bit longer for me to do, but
Yeah.
I figured that out, so it's no longer the hardest black band dunk for me. Aside from under both, to finish off the question, we have 360 East Bay. I'll start with that one next. Like I said, I need to redo this one. I did it on 910.6 back in the day, and that's not high enough for me. It was a very weak finish. It didn't go in with a ton of room. And that used to be my rule for dunking on rims like around that height, is I had to finish it with like enough room where it would go down on 10. And it doesn't meet that either. Doesn't meet that. So I just need to do it, preferably a good bit over 911, like I said. 911.5 and up would be ideal, but I just need to do it on a better rim, essentially.
Do you plan to do it in dribble or self bounce?
Self bounce. I I've tried it off the dribble a few times and I can get it like to the rim, like at the end of the sessions and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I could do this, but I would rather self bounce. And I think it's cooler. I'm a self bounce addict.
Yeah, for sure.
It's my favorite. Then you have 360 behind the back. I hit that for the first time August last year, and I made it two other times since then. It's one of my favorite dunks. I'm trying to work on getting better at 360 so I can do it more because it is seriously one of my favorite dunks to do. Um, what else? You have Scorpion and then backboard East Bay. Is that the
Yeah.
rest of them on the elite thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Scorpion. I've been doing that dunk for a long time now. I don't in my personal opinion, I don't think Scorpion is a black band dunk. I think it should be lower. It's just like
Yeah, I feel that.
Scorpion's very awkward whenever you first start doing it, but like once you
Yeah.
get the technique down, it's in nowhere near comparable to like under both 360 behind the back, 360 East Bay, backboard East Bay, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
100%. I mean, I've usually back rim every single one of them. Like I've only made, I think I made like maybe five, but like I can back rim it every single time as long as my positioning, like where my jump is
mhm.
good. But just like, and I do it cuff too, and I've hit it once off a lob. But just like to me, like that doesn't seem like that's almost like I could do that as a warm up dunk if I really wanted to. Like if
Yeah.
I get that consistent, that could be a warm up dunk. But it's just a lot of
100%.
people don't know how to do it because a lot of people either do a crab or they just are so uncontrolled that they just don't try it and they just can't
Yeah.
figure it out. So yeah, that's why I
Very,
think it's up there. But like at the same time, like of like how difficult the other dunks are with like technicality, it's nowhere near those ones. But
it's very similar to
100%.
what we talked about with behind the back. Once you get it down,
Yeah.
it's just not that hard.
Yeah, it's literally just technique and positioning, and then it's easy. Like my off vert's pretty trash. Like I can on my absolute best day ever, I can do a windmill off vert, and most other days besides that, I'm just doing like a simple two hand off vert, drop it in,
do you think you could
and
elbow off of it?
oh god no,
No.
not even close. Like my here's like this is leading back into Scorpion. Like my off vert's really bad. Like, there's a lot of guys who jump around the same height as me if I would approach, and their off vert is way better than mine. And that being said, I can get close to doing a scorpion off vert, and it's a black band dunk. Like, I just don't think it can, because like, imagine I'm trying to imagine myself doing any of those other dunks off vert, like under both everything. It wouldn't even be remotely close.
It'd be
No way
hilarious.
Hunter
Yeah,
stole my chair. There's
that's crazy, actually.
bro, Hunter, why? Why'd you steal my chair, dude?
I don't know.
That's
I mean, it's
funny.
not the same brand, but I mean, it's
Oh,
kind
is
of the
it?
same. Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah,
Okay,
yours is
no,
S
that's
sorry.
funny
Racer.
actually.
Mine's Mirax. I don't even know. I just bought it on like Amazon or something,
Bro,
probably.
the pillow's the exact
I
same.
thought they were the
My
exact same. Yeah,
my pillow looks like it's just flipped upside down.
Literally, though.
that's crazy.
Okay,
That's
I
crazy.
see some similarities and differences. That's
I
Yeah.
these,
think
these things are copies.
I just realized. I think like the way Sutherland does Scorpion. I think for 1 foot that could easily be a black band dunk.
It's
But
definitely
even for
harder off
him,
one
like
foot.
it's still super consistent. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously hide and seek has kind of been, you're the dunk you've been known for a while, besides every self bounce variation known to man. But what kind of like got you into hide and seek and then obviously just getting consistent at it?
The thing of hide and seek for me is it was extremely random. Like there was never like a big lead up to me hitting it. Like there's clips on my YouTube channel from like 2020 of me trying it like one or two times at a session just for fun. Like I did not expect to even get remotely close. And I would just kind of like throw it over the rim and grab the rim. And I'm like, okay, it looks cool, but it's probably not gonna go in, stuff like that. And then literally one session before I made it for the first time, I'm like, yo, I haven't tried this dunk in like a year. And I'm jumping way higher now. Let me try it. I like kept back rimming it. And I'm like, wait, this is actually possible. So um I repped it out a lot the next session and made it. And that was like the one at that blue gym, Calvary. And yeah, what was the second part of that question? It was like my first one, and then what?
Just like how you got it consistent.
Oh, it didn't get consistent for a while because, like, for me, that dunk is very much trial and error. Like, sometimes I try it and it's absolutely terrible. Sometimes I try it, it feels really good. Um, as far as getting consistent, like, I've made the dunk 3 times first try, and each one of those times, the dunk is fresh in my mind. Like, I've done it recently or something like that, and I'm able to just replicate the feel of it. Like I really don't know how to explain the dunk because like literally every bit of technique is just in my head for that dunk. I don't low rim it. I don't practice it like on the ground or
Yeah.
anything. It's literally just how it feels when I'm dunking. So eventually I just kept repping the dunk out and then I'd like make it more and more. I learned that one of my favorite ways to do the hide and seek is warming up because the hide and seek it does not require a massive vertical to make. Like I've literally walked up and threw the pass over the rim and dunked it kind of. Like it's literally just the pass. So I learned that I could just warm up with the hide and seek. I just like do like a 30% effort jump, throw the pass to the rim, see what happens, and then go from there. And in 2023, I made like 5 of them like that, just just warming up. So it's literally for that dunk, it's just reps,
Yeah.
trial and error, trying to replicate what works, stuff like that, pretty
How
Yeah.
much.
many have you made total so far? Because I know you kind of kept like a track on it. Do you still have a like record of how many you've hit or close
If
to, I should say?
yeah, if you count the two hand one, I made 20, I think.
Crazy.
So
That's
with the
crazy.
two hand, like what made you go for two hands? Where you're just like not like the hide and obviously hide and seek's not easy, but where you're like, well, I hit however many. Like, should I try two hands or like how did that really come about?
Um, it was honestly just random. I forget. I'm trying to remember the exact reason I started trying that dunk. I remember like it was like February 2023 and I was low rimming. I don't know if this is like actually the first time I ever thought of the dunk or even thought about wanting to try it. But I remember I was on like load management. The rim was at like 9.3 or something, and I was just doing some baby jumps and I did a two-hand hide and seek on it and kind of like rattled it in. And I'm like, yo, that didn't feel too bad. And then fast forward to think it was like May or June 2023. Um, I was trying it at my YMCA, and I had an attempt where I like kind of caught it, and I threw it like kind of over the top of the rim while touching the rim. And it was that moment I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually possible. Because like my knee was hurting pretty bad that day. It wasn't the best jumping day by any means. And I'm like, okay, that feels really cool. That would be by far my best dunk ever. I definitely want to do that. And then I started officially going for it like in like October or something. It took me like 2 months to hit because it was a very weird dunk to figure out. But yeah, it was just complete randomness that I even got trying it in the first place, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think you'll ever elbow that dunk?
So two hand hide and seek double elbow, probably not.
Just one elbow.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As long as I keep getting my vertical up, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't.
No, I mean, it just looks so stupid when you make that on like 7-6. It's just like that
Yeah,
was not
because
even
like
possible.
it's literally just the pass. Like if I just jump high, throw it over the rim, and get high enough to elbow, then there you go. I just have to
Yeah,
figure out a way to get the height with the pass.
yeah. I think I'm hoping that more people realize that after I hit it, because that is the most hilarious hide and seek of all time. That's probably the lowest hide and seek ever.
No, yeah, like I said, like the hide and seek's just the pass, and you proved that. Like you just
Yeah,
your pass was
I
literally
was
so
not jumping
perfect.
good at all.
Your pass was literally so perfect that it just it went in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny
But
because the day before that, for like an hour, I was literally just doing that, like with the ball and just throwing it into the hoop on 7.5,
mhm.
like literally just trying to make it into the rim, like over my shoulder. I
Yeah.
think that helped a lot.
Yeah, I want more people to start trying the hide and seek. Like it feels like such an
It's not that
intimidating
hard.
dunk. Like
I
it feels
want
so
to.
intimidating, but like I'm telling you, literally all it is the pass. Figure out the pass,
I
it's not a hard dunk.
Yeah, I've tried because like I've been lowering it a lot recently just because I've been on load management for I don't even know how long, like 2 months. But every time I tried the hide and seek, I've never really been able to get it to my right hand. I go usually like too early, or I don't throw the pass like fast enough. Like I've gotten close a couple times, like really low rims, but like when I go to 9 feet, I'm never close. Like lost and found is easier for me than a hide and seek is on like
Hmm.
Yeah,
9 feet.
I
But
think the
but also with I'm not gonna do that dunk on the left right. I'm gonna do it right left. So I'd have to like be this awkward like leaning forward and trying to get it back
I
here. So because I
I
don't want to
actually
use my
don't
pass.
think I actually don't think it's that much different right left. I think the lost and found is definitely like a really like natural motion for most people, but hide and seek, especially right left, it's generally the same thing. Kind of like
Yeah.
I remember like when Hunter was going for behind the back for the first time, he's doing it off lob and he was struggling a lot, and I was like, bro, just try it off dribble one time, and he just got like super close. And I think the hide
Hmm.
and seek is very similar to that. Like it's one of those dunks where you don't really, again, like we said, you don't need to jump that high. It's just everything has to be perfect. So if you just rep that out on like whatever,
100%.
like what you said, 9 feet, and just try to throw it like really over your shoulder and like almost like in front of you,
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
that's the
that's my
biggest
problem
thing.
too. Is I'm throwing it too far back. I'm trying to catch it back here and trying to instead
Yeah,
of trying to throw it over my shoulder and like try to
exactly.
catch it like above my head. I guess you would say.
Yeah. When I
Hmm.
was trying it for the
So
first time on like 8 or whatever, one thing like watching it back now that I see myself do is again, I would like you said, like throw it and then like over here, like to the side, and I'd like
Hmm.
look over here and try to catch it and then dunk it. And it kind of worked because I was on 8 feet, but like when I'm going for it on like 10, like that would never go in. Like as we saw with the one that I made, like I barely made
Yeah,
it. It
you
was just all
you gotta pass
pass.
it to the rim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got to
yeah.
be
that's
right in front of the rim. You just smack it
yeah.
in. Like most times that I miss, I literally just like slam my hand against the rim and just miss the ball
Hmm.
entirely. So
100%. Like that's why I just want to see more people trying the hide and seek because it's super possible. Like before I made the hide and seek, the only person to do it off 2 feet was Jordan, and like no one was trying it. And then I made it, and then other people was like, "Oh my God, it's possible." So then other people started doing it, and I'm like, "Please, like it's a cool dunk. Just figure out the pass, and it's there." And
Yeah.
then like
yeah,
I feel like you've proved it again. Like, hey, perfect pass, you can do it. Like
yeah.
Yeah, for
it's a
sure.
really cool dunk.
So kind of going off with like crazy dunks and stuff. Obviously, you're trying to get that East Bay elbow. Is there any other dunks that I don't know if you want to talk about it, if, like they're a secret, but like, is there any other like really high dunkles that you're trying to go for besides that one? Like, what are your goals for like the future here? Obviously you said black band, but like dunks that you haven't hit. What are your some of your top priorities or top goals like soon here?
Everything. No, no, literally, like that's essentially what I've done my entire dunk career. Like I said, I have a massive whiteboard that I'm looking at right now. It's completely filled up. There's just dunks on it. Like I've literally always done this. I write dunks on board. I hit dunk. I erase it from board. Like I just love the idea of trying to use dunking to improve myself to do new things. So like one dunk that I want to start going for is 360 lost and found because like right now it feels really awkward. I haven't really tried it that much, and it's gonna take a lot of practice and like studying and stuff to kind of fix. And to me, that's just really fun. That's kind of like why I love dunking is figuring out these dunks. So lost and found, I would like to do that. I would like to do the variations of it. I want to do more hide and seek stuff. Like just pretty much anything. I like I said,
Yeah.
I just love the idea of just doing new dunks because
Oh,
whenever you do a new dunk, you're essentially focusing on a part of you that is not yet mastered at that specific skill, and then you can work on it, and boom, you become a better dunker. So
yeah, and it normally
yeah,
helps with like
everything.
more than just that dunk too. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Like
I
I
actually
especially
wanted
want to do a
to.
bunch of lefty stuff too, because my left
Oh
hand
yeah,
sucks. So
mine's
I
worse.
I want to, dude, my left hand doesn't even
Yeah.
know how to dunk.
Dude, I feel that. I mean, I want to do a scoop so bad, and I have to use my left hand. I mean, I've tried left, right. I've gotten kind of close, but like I can only do left, right so
Hmm.
much before I start like getting not hurt, but like just hurting play places. So I'm using my left hand for that has been a struggle, but like I just left hand dunks in general are just
Yeah.
they scare
Yeah.
me.
Hmm.
Yeah, Travis, I have one dunk specifically that I wanted to ask you about, and that was kind of like the between the legs, behind the back that I've seen you try a couple times. Is that something that you just kind of like have messed around doing, or do you actually hope to
Are
hit
you
that?
are you talking about that one session of Donovan?
I don't know. I just remember seeing you try it where you just put it between to the left and then behind
Oh,
your
like the
back
end
to
of
the
the
right.
dunk camp, the session.
Pretty sure you
Yeah, I
tried
remember
that, yeah.
that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
dude.
what that's the one you're
I'm
talking
still
about.
pissed about that attempt. I wanted to actually try it, and the second I jumped, my calf just cramped up, and I'm like, damn it. Um, that's definitely a dunk I would like to do someday. I had a bad jumping day of Donovan back in 2022. That's kind of what I was talking about there, and the rim was pretty low. I think it was like I measured it at 910 flat that day, but that was before the days where I knew how to measure a rim like Jordan Kilgannon. So like it might have been a little lower, wouldn't be surprised. And I was able to get the between the legs behind the back to the rim kind of. Like I think there's attempts in the YouTube video, and like a better jumping day. I think I can get just as close. I just haven't really tried it, but it's definitely on my list for one day because I think that's a really cool dunk.
Yeah. Did you see me do that on like 7.5 or 8 or whatever?
Nah, I didn't.
No. Yeah, I did it literally like
I don't think so, at least. Maybe I
a
did.
little bit after dunk camp day one actually. But yeah, I hit that on there and I basically realized like that could be possible on 10 for someone that's
Hmm.
actually good at dunking. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's been a lot of people begging me to try that dunk for a while. I'm just like, I don't know,
really.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's
like I
hard,
have I have the behind the back part down, so
Yeah.
like that's another reason why I like practicing like every dunk and I want to hit every dunk because like I said, my left hand sucks. What's the first part of between the legs behind the back for me? East Bay with the left hand. I don't know how to do that
yeah,
dunk. I've never made a
Yeah.
regular East Bay with my left hand, so it's just like I still need to work on other things to like get better at other dunks. I don't know. So
for sure.
that's why I like going for every
Yeah,
dunk.
So kind of
yeah.
going along with
Here, wait
goals.
1 second, Hunter. We got one more minute on here, so you'll want to restart again.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
All right,
damn.
I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Hunter, that's that question.
So yeah, kind of going back to like some goals. Obviously you kind of talked about just jumping higher, gaining vertical. Like, what's your maybe not end goal vertical, but like what are you trying to hit either like at your cap or like kind of soon? Because do you know your actual like vert right now currently?
I always give like a rough estimation because I don't know my exact vertical. I've tested roughly 44 on a Vertex one time. Um, Give or take, like measuring Vertex are super weird, and I don't really test that much. But I tested like roughly a 44 that day, give or take. And I've definitely had higher jumping days since then. So like usually I just say my verticals between like 44, 45-ish. 45 would be super unofficial to say, but it's somewhere around there. Usually
Yeah,
I just spend my jumps on dunking opposed to vertex
yeah.
because
That's
like
another thing I was gonna ask is
yeah, because like
um
vertexing is a skill. Like if you're not good at the skill of actually like running in, jumping up and touching the tab, it's just like wasted jumps in my opinion. Like the amount
yeah,
of jumps that I've wasted missing the tab by like this the tab going like reaching too far in front of it or reaching like at the peak and then going down before you get to the tab. Like it's just so hard to time if you're not used to it. So I waste so many attempts on
yeah.
vertex.
Because
And it
that's what I was
also
gonna
hurts my
ask you
back.
too. Really? Oh,
Yeah,
because
no,
from
at
reaching?
the it's a much more intense jump on my back than self bouncing because it's like 100% effort. And I don't know why that hurts my back. Literally at the Dunk Camp Wisconsin show, I tried to touch the bell and that flared my back up. Then I tried a couple hide and seeks after that, and then I literally just stopped jumping. I took my shoes off. Like my back was super bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't even like Vertex. I just want to
Yeah.
dunk. I want to dunk
That that's
ball.
that's kind of my thing too, is like obviously I tested in 2023. That's the last time I tested. And like I wanted to test at both camps, but also the scheduling I just didn't really like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was gonna test in the morning, then jump later. Like I just didn't like that. But it's just like I think about vertecing every single week, but then I'd just rather go dunk or I just completely forget because I'm focused on new dunks I want to hit or
Yeah.
goals that I have. So it's just like personally for me, I'm just like kind of the same way you are. Like it's a skill, and I'm just not that good at it, and I'd rather just hit a new dunk or just hit dunks consistently than just jumping and try touching a tab. So,
Yeah,
um,
100%.
but
I don't even have access to a Vertex. I would probably test a little bit more often, but only if I was like feeling insanely good. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's really it. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing is just like I just want to feel actually good when I'm testing a Vertec. Like I haven't had like I'd say like a really good session since probably the last time before I got my bone bruise was probably the last time like I felt like insane. So it's just like I just don't feel I guess ready enough if that's the correct term to
Yeah.
use a Vertec. But like obviously I've been jumping decent, but it's just like I just think I'm gonna just be wasting jumps. I'm not even gonna test close to a new PR, or I might test like
Mm-hmm.
to what my old PR was, which I'm definitely jumping higher than I was last year. But like the adrenaline at dunk camp probably just took over last year. So, and I'm just gonna do it at my gym with it's empty and there's no hype or anything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. And was there a second part of your question too? You asked me like what my vertical is now, and did you say like end goal too or something?
yeah, I'd say like if you had like a cap, like obviously I'm guessing it's probably over 50, but like is there like a goal that you want pretty like soon here, or like by the end of the year, or in a year, or like what is kind of like your goal for vertical for the future?
Um, I can't really say I have like a concrete goal. Like I'm not like, oh, I really want a 48 by this year, 46 by this year. It's just like whenever I start jumping higher, then sure, I'll take it. Like again, I'm just more concerned with dunking at the end of the day. And then like my vertical is just gonna naturally go up as I continue to lift and stuff. But by the end of my career, like I think if I can jump 48 between 48 and 50, I'd be pretty happy. It's just weird in my back because like I can't train properly, which is really
Yeah,
unfortunate. Like ever since dunk camp, I have not picked up a barbell from like the floor, like a deadlift position or anything like that, because like it just hurts. Like
yeah,
I don't know. I literally can't squat with a barbell on my back or anything. So I have to do a bunch of things like super weird now opposed to like before my back injury. So like it'd be nice to jump that high. I
Yeah.
don't really know what's in the tank anymore because of that. So at the end of the
So
day, my entire focus is just dunk ball. And when I
yeah.
jump higher, I jump higher.
So before we go into like your injury history, because that's kind of like a good segue to go into, like if you touched 48, what would your actual like touch be? You know, like if you did the
Um,
math.
okay, in my current dunk shoes, my standing reach is 8'1.5". So 48 is 12 1.5. Yeah. So I'd
Jeez,
need
yeah.
12 1.5 for 48, which
Okay.
that's up there.
Yeah,
What's
that is.
Jordan? What's Kilgan's reach, by the way?
I don't know his like concrete reach. I've heard different things. I know
Is it
it's like
over 8?
no, God, no. He has little baby arms, little
Really?
little T-Rex arms. Like whenever me and him compare, like he comes up to like right there on me, and I can just do that to him.
All right, good.
That's
I
I'm just
I
actually
know
making.
crazy.
I know I don't know his official
I don't.
concrete
I don't need
reach.
no number. I'm just gonna make sure it's under 8 because otherwise I'm cooked.
It's
But
it's
we'll
like
take that.
seven. It's like 7'10", 7'10.5", something like
Okay.
that. I honestly have no clue. I just know it's around there. He has some baby arms on him.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But kind of going to injury wise, obviously we know your back has been a huge like issue for you, and for a lot of
Sadly.
people actually. But like what kind of like caused that, and like what did you do for that? And then we can kind of get into some other injuries, but like obviously back's probably like and knees, but we'll get in the
Mm-hmm.
back first.
All right. So first thing, what caused it?
Yeah, like what kind of like caused your pain, I guess, or like did you start having pain like through lifting, through dunking, or was it just like one thing where you just got hurt and you're out for like a month or something?
That was the thing. Like there was a lot of randomness before the actual like official back injury happened. I think I can blame the majority of it on it coming from lifting though, because before I knew anything about lifting, I would squat like ATG, like ass to grass, all the way down to the floor, and because like I was able to get away with that for a long time with no pain, and a lot of people are also able to do that. I always thought deep squatting was like the best for vertical, but my anatomy does not support the ability to do that. I thought it did because like I got away with it for a long time with no pain, like I said. But at the very bottom of my squat, if you go to my Travis lifting page on Instagram and like go down to the account, if you watch me deep squatting back in the day, at the very bottom, you notice the lower part of my back and the lumbar spine kind of like curve in when I hit the bottom. And that is my spine kind of flexing under load. So eventually I started to get some kind of disc bulge from that. And that hurt quite a bit, but I was able to kind of repair that. I was able to fix it and get the pain to go down. But on top of that, I was still dunking and trying like East Bays and stuff, and the mechanism of that injury was like loaded flexion, all right? Like barbell on my back, spine bends at the bottom, and the spine also bends on an East Bay, right? So my spine was already weakened in that bending position. And then at Dunk Camp 2022, I was spamming East Bays. I was trying to self bounce it and like catch it with two hands for the first time and a bunch of stuff. And I just kept missing. And my back was not hurting at all. And eventually I just felt like something kind of give. It felt like a little pop or something whenever I like went for an East Bay. And that was when I like officially destroyed my back, like herniated the heck out of it and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much the origin story of that. It started with lifting. I let it cool off from lifting, and then the East Bays just kind of was the nail in the coffin because I was just repetitively bending it back and forth in the same way that it kind of got injured in the first place.
So is that the final like diagnosis was a herniated disc, or
It was like a,
and I'm
I
guessing low back, right?
yeah, it's my
Yeah,
L5 disc. Stuart McGill, right? I'm trying to,
yeah,
yeah,
yep.
I actually like it got to the point where I've like actually like I've been on like multiple calls with Stuart McGill to talking about
Really?
my back. Yeah, because like it was
I mean, that's kind of cool though.
like
So
yeah, literally like after Dunk Camp 2022, I was out of commission. Like I tried jumping an entire month after that camp and I couldn't do it. Like I was literally unable to jump. My back was so bad. Like nothing we were doing was really helping. So I like got with him and I think he called it, and what did he call it? It was like a dynamic open fissure disc bulge slash herniation at the L5 level. In other words, not good.
yeah,
Um, The main thing that kind of helped me though was going for those little brisk walks that everybody talks about. Because with that injury, essentially what I did, imagine my spine disc is like a big jelly donut. And you know, if you squeeze the jelly donut, like all the stuff comes flying out of it, the gel inside. That's essentially what the inside of my disc looked like. And I like split it open and I put like a bunch of this disc fluid like into my nerve, like in my back, like really hard. So it was like pressing. So anytime I would jump, that nerve is being pressed by the fluid. And obviously, if the thing tries to move while it's being pressed, that's going to hurt a lot. So that was what was wrong with my back. And through the walking, I was able to floss the nerves. That's kind of like the goal of walking. It like gets the nerve fibers going up and down. And like with back injuries, if you have a disc bulge or something, nerve flossing is great because like if you gently move the nerves, it like actually, I think I'm saying this right. Like nerves literally have the ability to apparently like, this is gonna sound weird, and I hope I get it right because it's been a while. They literally have like the ability to like dissolve kind of and like move out of the way. Like it's really weird, but like the flossing essentially just like opens it up to get it off like the material that's kind of been extruded onto it. So that was like the main thing that was able to get me back into dunking because I was able to free up the nerve root and it was able to like move freely without getting any like painful catches or anything. So that was the main thing for me. And from then we just kind of like slowly reintroduced jumping volume, lifting volume, stuff like that. To this day, I can't really pull from the floor or anything. I literally cannot squat up a barbell on my back. Like I tried to add them back in a few months ago, and like if like literally if I put 300 pounds on my back right now and try to squat, it feels like my lower back is going to explode. Like it is so weird. Like it's not even like it hurts now. Like it okay, it definitely hurts, but it feels like an elephant standing on it. Like it doesn't work. But
That's crazy.
thankfully I've been able to kind of rehab it to the point where I can dunk. And ultimately that's the most important thing to me. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. So in your training, I know I've seen you do like squats on like some crazy machine or whatever. So like what have you changed in your training to like allow you to kind of work around it?
That squat machine is very important because it allows me to squat without putting any load on my back because it's just a belt squat and Stuart McGill recommended it to me because it still gives very similar adaptations as a barbell back squat would, but without the load on the back. So it's extremely safe to use. Like I'm pretty sure like even during the peak of my back pain, whenever it was at its absolute worst, I could probably squat on that thing. Unfortunately, I didn't have it at the peak of it, so I don't know. But I definitely think I could because literally just like I think it was like April or something. I was doing a bunch of one footing and I hit an inverter on 9.6. And for some reason, my back did not agree with all those 1 foot jumps in the inverter. And it was super bad for like a week. And that was probably the most flared up it's been, other than like the Wisconsin thing with the Vertec. And I was able to squat on it completely pain free. So that thing was awesome. It's definitely been one of the main things that have helped me kind
Do
of
you have
like
to buy
maintain
that
my
thing?
ability to train. Yeah, I did. It was a pretty penny, but I absolutely have had to do it because without it, I mean, I couldn't really train.
Yeah, it's
So what else are
crazy.
Um,
you doing with training then? Because obviously you said you can't do deadlift, so I'm guessing you're not doing power clean. Do
I've
you do
I've
hand clean at all?
Here's the thing. I've actually been doing some baby cleans lately, trying to reintroduce it in. So like before my back injury, I did a hang clean, or what was it? Before my back injury, I did a power clean at 235. I did a hang clean at 235 at one point after my back injury. Because like I can still kind of do a hang clean. I can't like it's really weird. And when I send it to John and Isaiah, they laugh at it. So like with a normal clean, obviously like you hinge like this and then go up,
Yeah.
right? Like now I can't do that. I have to like barely bend and I just like pretty much muscle it up my upper body. And for somehow I did 235 with that like a little over a year ago, but
That's
um
It's crazy.
like eventually it just started like wearing and tearing on my back. It just stopped feeling good, so I completely cut it out for a while. And now I've actually added back in some baby cleaning, like I said. It's a lot weaker than it used to be, but I've been cleaning like anywhere from 135 to like 185, just trying to get the stimulus going again. Because like my thought process for a while was like, oh, I can't do the weight that I used to do. It hurts too much. But like at the end of the day, doing something is better than nothing. Doing 135, even though it feels super light for me and probably doesn't feel like I'm really getting much out of it, it's better than nothing. So I'm trying to like kind of progressively overload from there to see if I can like make any progress in my back to get it back to the point where I can go with heavier weights. I haven't really seen much progress yet, but it's a long game. I mean, I injured my back 2 years ago, and it's still pretty much pretty complicated. So I'm just in it for the long game, really, seeing what works and what doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to play around with back, especially obviously you learned that. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple. I haven't had anything huge, luckily, but I definitely know where you're coming from. From like just one little thing could tweak it, and then another thing could make it like a huge problem, and then you can't do like anything for a while, and you're still dealing with it 2 years later. So it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
something that you got to keep like in mind, and that's why I mean, even with doing your hang cleans at 135, like it's a lightweight, but I mean, you're still doing a movement to help
Mm-hmm. Still
go
training.
towards that. Yeah. So you're still doing something, even though it's like lightweight, but even if you're doing it with heavyweight, you could have a chance of hurting yourself. While as that, you're just basically, I mean, you're still getting the movement out, even though you're doing lightweight. So,
Mm-hmm. 100%. Yeah, like that's why I'm so careful with my back. Because like a couple of people have like asked me like since the injury, like, yo, are you just can I swear on this podcast? Is that allowed?
Dylan, I don't know if
Yes,
you,
Is
I
that
don't care. I mean, if you need to ask, you probably don't need to, but whatever you want, bro.
I'll say it in a nicer way. Um, so a couple people have asked me, am I just training like a little B word? Because like I'll send like Isaiah and John my training and stuff, and like it just doesn't look like I'm really trying to train like how I used to. But like Hunter said, like backs are very sensitive, and they could be a very big issue if you don't treat it right. So like after my original injury, I couldn't jump from like June to October. I started doing baby jumps in October. I couldn't
yeah,
really hardly train at all from June to October. And then like from there, my training didn't get like normalized back to somewhat normal until like February.
yeah,
Like whenever a back flares up, it can turn into like a crazy long process, and it can definitely get in the way of making long-term progress. Like before my big back injury, I did the disc bulge from like April to June. That was a 2 month thing where I had to like really pay attention to my training and try to make smart decisions and stuff. And then that slows down progress. Like backs are very sensitive, and they can turn into a really big thing if you don't manage it properly. So like I see so many dunkers, they're like, oh, I have back pain, but I just kind of go through it. Like, no. Like
yeah,
if you have back pain, the number one thing you can do is make your back pain go away. Do whatever you can to make it go away, whether it's taking a little bit of time to stop doing the thing that's hurting it, whether it's like dialing down how many e-space you're trying a session, literally whatever it is. Because like even though you may think your back pain will just go away, it could easily turn into something a lot crazier. Not to
yeah,
say that there's probably some people who've just kind of continued doing what they were doing and their back pain went away. If that's your case, then good for you. But like I've seen a lot of people go from just like a regular back to just completely destroying it just by not being careful.
yeah. I
So
mean, kind
that's
of
why
like
I'm
what you said
super.
is with, um, like when you couldn't jump. I mean, if you think about it, your back is getting compressed with every single jump, and then you add an E spade to it. Now you have flexion. So it's
Yeah.
like whatever you're doing, you're always going to be compressing that back or just adding some type of load to your back, whether you're doing an easy dunk or a
Hmm.
hard dunk. It doesn't matter what you're doing or how high you jump, you're still putting load on it. So that's
Yep.
why you say like you couldn't jump because again, you're putting load on it no matter what you do. And then obviously lifting does that as well. So like back is probably one of the hardest things to deal with. Like obviously, you know, on a personal level, I kind of went through, nothing too crazy, but like it's like you
Mm-hmm.
can't even function properly with a hurt back, even with just everyday things you can't do. So it's just like people really need to realize that because like I was kind of like in that same boat that you were talking about, like people just like, oh, I have back pain, whatever. Like I was kind of doing that, and then all of a sudden it got really bad, like because I was spamming under both because I was just trying to hit that a bunch, and then that's kind of how it got bad, and then I kind of started doing McGill Big Three every single day. Did a little bit of brisk walks and kind of kept the under bolts to a minimum. And again, my back pain kind of went down. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, that's definitely an injury that you don't want to mess around with. Just like, I mean,
Yeah.
you could say with any injury, but like I'd say the two are like Achilles and back are like the two that like are extremely hard to get back from.
Mm-hmm. Knock on
So
wood,
we're
I've never felt my Achilles. Knock on wood. It hasn't happened
yeah,
yet. I
I've
hope
had
it
that
stays that
for
way.
I've had it for like 4 months now or something like that, three
Mm-hmm.
months, and it's just like I haven't
Yeah.
heard it like at all, but just the feeling of it, it just scares me because obviously we saw CJ. He's still
Mm-hmm.
obviously going through it, and it's been a while, but just like that's such a scary one, and just like I just don't want to go through months, even a year of like trying to build it back up. So that's why I've
Yeah.
been on load management for 2 months or whatever it's been. So and lowering me a
Mm-hmm.
ton just because I don't want to flare it up too bad. But yeah, I mean, now we can kind of get back into more of your other
Yeah.
injuries because I know we can kind of get into your knee. Obviously that you said that was kind of like a thing that kind of was hurting quite a bit and was a problem. So like, when did that start? Did that start up pretty early on, or only when you started like jumping consistently?
Um, well, after the initial injury, like before I joined THP, my knee was actually completely fine for a good long while. And every now and then, like my only knee issues is just from overload. Like if I'm stupid and I over jump on a jump day, and if I jump for like 3 hours, I'll probably have some tendon issues going on. Um, that's pretty much all my knee injuries. Just overload, me being stupid. I actually haven't had any knee pain for like what, it's August now. I haven't felt my knee since like April, really. Like not more than like a one or two, because I've just kind of completely taken away over jumping. I try to behave now so I can continue making progress without being injured. So as far as knee pain, I'm actually doing pretty good now. Just very random patella flare ups, I guess.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, I think the last thing we want to talk about is like contests and events and stuff. So I know you haven't done like a ton of contests, but have you done like any worth mentioning?
I beat Dan Gross in a dunk contest. Dude, I give him hell for that every single time I get to. It was
What
just some random contest with me, Dan, and Obi, and he just missed his last dunk and I made mine, so I rubbed it in his face because obviously I have no business beating Dan.
yeah.
But that's my most notable dunk contest because
So
I get
one
to say
thing
that.
one thing is, have you ever done any of the dunk camp contests? Because I know I haven't seen anything, but did you do that for the first year or two or
I
no?
did in 2021. It was super funny kind of how it happened because like me and all the guys that were in it, we were like super excited around lunchtime. We were wanting to do the contest, and then there was a bug flying around. But the contest was getting super delayed because there was a lot of vertex testing, and like they had to get it done before the contest because that was supposed to be the end of the day thing. So we all dunked for 3.5 hours before the contest, and we all went in there jumping like 30 inches off the ground, dude. It was bad.
That's actually
So
crazy.
that's my one dunk camp contest. It
You just
was
get bad memories from that from now on.
it was actually that was
Well,
actually
like
a
just
really
because you
good
jump so
day.
much. Yeah.
No, yeah, like I'm not mad at it. That was a very awesome session and very memorable contest experience. Like, bro, me and the guys I dunked with for that long, we were like struggling to walk after that session. I literally I went and did like a windmill, barely made it in, and the rim was like 9, 10 and a half or something during that time period. I don't remember exactly why. I barely made a windmill, so I just went and took my shoes off and laid down because I thought I was getting out. And then they like called me back over, like, "Yo, put your shoes back on. You're still in it." Like I was just struggling to even walk, but yeah, that was
That's
my dunk camp
crazy.
contest experience. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
but I've known you had a couple like North Carolina shows, and like I know you went to Canada with Jordan for one of them as well. So with those North Carolina ones, are you the ones that are like putting those on, or did you have actually somebody reach out to you guys and like ask you to do that?
So both of the shows that we did here were actually at gyms we dunk at. So the one the one that was 9, 10 and a quarter, that was actually the other side of the gym where I hit backboard East Bay. Like we get into that gym every now and then. The people who let us in there are great people, and they just reached out like, hey, do you guys want to put on a dunk show for the school? Because it was like a halftime thing for like a senior night or something. I don't know. So we did that for them, completely free because I mean, hey, they let us in the gym, so we just kind of said, hey, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. And we did one dunk show at Calvary, which is the school that we always get into. More than happy to do it for them. But yeah, we don't put it on. The coaches just kind of asked us if we want to do a dunk show, and we're like, yeah, of course, sounds fun.
Yeah, for sure. How about the one in Canada? How'd that come about?
Oh, that was a really awesome contest because like me and Jordan has talked about that event for like years and years and years because like it's called 5 Cent City, happens like every August up there in Canada. I think this is the first year that they stopped doing it, but it's an extremely awesome event. I can't even begin to describe like what goes on at that event. It's very life changing. There's a lot of people sharing like inspiring stories. There's like lots of entertainment and fun games going on. And like I always talk to Jordan about how cool that event was, and he always did a dunk show at the end of the thing every single time. So he's like, "Yo, come up here, do the dunk show, come see the event." And yeah, it was awesome. Me and him both hit the hide and seek during the show, which was pretty surreal. Then Jordan jumped over a car. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. So
Yeah,
that's definitely one of my favorite dunk events I've been at. And
that was a
just
fun
seeing
one for
Canada was
watch.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, was that the whole Canada trip that you were on where you hit 360 behind the back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
What
the
what
same trip.
yeah, I got to dunk in that legendary gym. Dude, that might be that's like my top two favorite gyms I've ever been in. It's hard to pick a first, but the floor is so nice, the rim's amazing in there. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so as we wrap up here, what's the future looking like for Mr. Travis? Any plans to compete? Any plans to do
Um,
shows, dunk goals,
I
weight
would love
goals?
to. I would love to. Like, um, I'm actually trying to put myself out there a little more to get invited to shows and stuff. Um, I would love to do more events. I just never get invites. I don't know why. So I'm definitely open to doing a lot more shows and contests going forward. But as far as what I can say with certainty, what's next for me is just the same old, same old. I'm just gonna keep doing what I've always done. Just I pick a dunk and I train for it until I hit it. So
Yeah.
same old, same old.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
got
learn how to
one
push
quick
off an insane amount, and you'll get invited and
Yes,
stuff.
I got
I
one
do need to
quick
learn those.
question. It's a little bit of a funny one.
Oh, bring it.
So what's the lore behind try down a regulation hoop, buddy? I really want to know what the lore is
No shot,
behind
dude.
that.
I literally have the
No,
shirt
he's
on.
actually wearing the shirt too. I actually, if you sell those shirts, I'm buying one because I
I
need.
need to. I really need to. I just have not really figured out the best way to do it yet. I've heard Teespring's a good option. I also know someone pretty local to me that makes shirts, so I need to look at it.
Yeah, but
It's
I'd
what's
pull
the
okay.
that
lore
too.
behind
It's
it?
it's really funny because like every single comment section, some guys like roasting me like what do you mean, dude? It's only an inch low. It doesn't matter. And like people are responding like, yo, that's his personal account. It literally just started by making fun of haters because like back in the day, like I'd post a dunk on like 9, 11 and a half or something. I'd list the rim height, and there'd just be haters like it's not 10 feet or it's a low rim, it doesn't count. So like I always thought those comments were funny. So I'm just like, what if I just turn it into a satire thing where I just roast myself on every single post? And I don't know, a lot of people like kind of talked about it. They thought it was pretty funny, and it's kind of blossomed into like this like meme, I guess. So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
just do it on every post now.
yeah, for me, I've even got some of those in my comment section. I'm just like, bro, this is not Travis's comment section. Like it's
Bro,
literally word for word.
there was a post of mine a few months ago where literally like 30 people commented. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Usually it's
Uh,
just me.
yeah, because I think we planned that. I
Oh
think there was
God.
one post where like I think it was actually during camp or something. We're just like next post or like when Travis posts, we're all saying try that in a regulation hoop, buddy.
Hmm.
I think that's kind of how it was, but but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's just a funny little meme. I definitely do want to sell some shirts on, and I think it's really cool.
it'll be a
It's just a
fun one.
funny thing, dude. It started as a joke, and now it's a meme. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Well, obviously appreciate you, Travis, for hopping on here. If you guys
Absolutely.
are not following him, go make sure to follow him, Travis Dunks. So yeah. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.